What's going on, everyone? So the Los Angeles Lakers value Austin Reaves like he is the second coming of Michael Jordan, right? They refuse to trade him. I was in the camp of trading him for DeJounte Murray. I just think DeJounte Murray is the better player. Even when Austin Reaves was coming off of the season that he was coming off of, it was like, hey, DeJounte Murray's still better, and he fits a need, right? Gives you athleticism, point of attack defense, gives you playmaking. You could even slide D'Lo to the 2, still get that level of shooting, or you could trade D'Lo to get a better fit alongside DeJounte Murray. Whatever you want to do, gives you some options. But I wanted DeJounte Murray. That's neither here nor there. Obviously, it didn't happen. He's on the New Orleans Pelicans. But the Lakers refused to trade Austin Reaves for anything outside of a star. And on the surface, you look at it and you go, well, it's credible value contract for the player that he is, right? We saw what his upside is or what his potential ceiling is, right? Lakers believe that he has another ceiling beyond that, but even in what we saw, not last year, the previous year, if that's his ceiling, that's still a very good ceiling. I mean, you talk about a guy that can give you 20 on any given night as a third, fourth option, right? And then even last season on a bad year still was a 16, 4, and 5 guy or 6 guy, right? Like, problem is, Austin Reaves, it's like he's completely forgotten how to shoot. Now, you look at these 2 preseason games, and I understand it's preseason, and see a lot of comments from people that are like, it's only preseason, you're overreacting, it's fine. We said all these excuses all season last year, myself included. Right? I hyped up Austin Reaves like he was the second coming of Michael Jordan, just like everyone else, right? Like, you're not trading him. He's this. He's the future. Sky, we got ourselves a steal, right? But I had my concerns, and I talked about it. Talked about, like, can he maintain that level, right? Can he adjust to the new league rules to where he's not going to be able to create contact the way he was able to prior? Is he going to be able to adjust to teams and their defense actually ready for him, right? It's easy to go off when teams have no idea who you are, right? Before LeBron gets hurt and he has his emergence, he was getting spot minutes. He was just some guy, right? No one cared. No one was worried about him. But all of a sudden, he's giving you 20 a game in the playoffs. Teams are like, hey, we should probably kind of figure out, like, he's torching these other teams. We should probably, maybe watch some film. So now you have film on him. Now he becomes a target for the defense side of things. And look, again, I even said going into the season that, I'll take the excuse of Austin Reaves had tired legs. I get it. You went from basically playing spot minutes and a limited role to all of a sudden playing the most minutes out of anybody on the team for the back half of the season and the playoffs. Then you immediately went into FIBA, where same thing happened, and then you went into preseason training camp, right? Or training camp, preseason, regular season, played all 82 games, playing heavy minutes again, and okay, fine. You got me, right? I'll buy it. I'll take it. Okay, well, he had all offseason to just chill, right? And he said he was working on stuff. He said, hey, just because I'm not posting stuff doesn't mean I'm not working. But he's posting a lot of videos of him golfing, a lot of videos of him with his girl, right? Hey, go on with your bad stuff. Enjoy your life, right? Everyone should, right? Spend some time with your girl, right? Play some golf. I know you love it. You say you were working. Well, so far we haven't seen it. Now, I will say I do like the aggressiveness that you're seeing from Austin Reaves, right? I do like that he's been more in attack mode. It's something I talked about all season last year, that Austin Reaves just settled way too much. I do like that he is being more aggressive, especially when his shot isn't falling, but he can't shoot. Again, I understand it's 2 preseason games, but it's not like, oh, he's been okay. No, he's been bad, right? So the first game, he started 0 of 3 from 3 and then finished 2 of 5, okay, 40%. But he was 2 of 9 total from the field. It's not good, right? He had 16 points, but 10 of those 16 points were from free throws. So he really only had 6 points, right? Which were the back-to-back threes that he hit. Outside of that, can't hit a 3. Then you have the second game, right? And he's 2 of 10 from the field and 0 of 7 from 3-point range. So that means in total, He is in the 2 games is what? 2 and 12 from 3-point range? And he's 4 of 19? 4 of 19 from the field total? That he's not shooting well. Now look, that doesn't mean he can't turn it around. That doesn't mean he won't figure it out. That doesn't mean he won't get better. Very likely could. He very well could. And look, I'll be the first one to hype him up again, right? I like Reaves. I think as your 4th option, sure. But the Lakers have a bunch of needs that they need to solve. And the best way to get those needs is probably Austin Reaves, right? Now, the problem is Austin Reaves, because he is on such a valuable contract for the Lakers, that it'd be hard to trade just Austin Reaves for something. Like, if you could swap Austin Reaves for Zach LaVine, I would do that all day, right? Like, if you could just swap the two, do it. Even don't give up first nothing, just clean swap. Boom, I do that all day. Unfortunately, you can't, right? Zach LaVine is 40 plus million. But to me, Austin Reaves, I look at as if you're willing to trade him, fill other needs, right? So, for example, let's say you were to trade for Zach LaVine. Let's say you went and you did, Rui Hachimura, D'Angelo Russell, and like Gabe Vincent for Zach LaVine. Boom. Right? Well, then now, if you were to take, say, you could either go with Max Christie in the starting lineup if you wanted to for defense, but if you're willing to still now make other trades, right? One, you could still go trade for Walker Kessler because you haven't given up any of your firsts. Maybe even just swap Austin Reaves for Walker Kessler. Some people might not like that, but you get a center for now in the future, and you just got Zach LaVine. So, hey, but if you have him and you're willing to trade him and maybe say even a Jared Vanderbilt or whatever and kind of reshape this roster, well, now you got another $22 million in salary. You go get a guy like a Bruce Brown who would make more sense as a fit. Now you got Bruce Brown, Zach LaVine. Talk about athleticism. Talk about versatility. Got that defense, point of attack guy that can just do so many things. And especially with this offense, we saw how good he was in Denver's offense, right? Well, Lakers are playing a very similar offense, so imagine what you could do in that regard. And then have Zach LaVine as a scoring option with athleticism, with all that. And you still have like Max Christie, Dalton Connect, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, right? Like, and you could still, with Max Christie and other things, go make another move, go make another trade, right? Like, and you might not even have to give up any of your picks, right? Like, literally, you might not have to give up any of your picks. And so now you still are set up for the future. You have all these guys. You're just a better overall team. Again, it's just options, right? But point is trading Austin Reaves gives you more flexibility for other things. Or say you do go trade for Cam Johnson, right? Like, let's say you get Cam, or here, let's do this. Let's say Jeremy Grant. I know people don't really like Jeremy Grant, but let's say you get a Robert Williams in the deal too, right? So you do that. You trade Rui, D'Lo, and Gabe Vincent to go pull those off, right? Well, now you can take Austin Reaves and Jared Vanderbilt and still go get something else, right? You could still go get another move. You still go make another trade. You again have 20 plus million in salary just between those two guys, right? You stack a couple other guys. Like, there's options, there's flexibility there, right? Or you just wait and be patient. Like, I'm not saying you have to trade Austin Reaves right now, and I'm not even saying you should trade Austin Reaves just to trade Austin Reaves. But beyond the superstar, right, which I think is a little silly, but maybe a team is kind of like, hey, let's do it. But to me, I think either A, you trade him for a clear-cut better player, like I mentioned with DeJounte Murray. Right? DeJounte Murray is the better player. Who wins the trade? The team that gets the best player. And on top of that, he fits a need. But, okay, if you can get the better player, that makes sense, right? You don't want to just get the better player and, say Russell Westbrook, right? Like, do a deal like that, and now it's like, now you're worse, right? Because you can get worse. But if you can get the clear better player, or if you could get a bigger need and fit, right? Like, again, if you could get a Walker Kessler, or you could get Wendell Carter Jr. just signed a new deal, so you can't get him. But, like, if they were willing to trade Wendell Carter Jr. before that signing, right? Like, again, bigger fit. You already have a guy in Austin Reaves and D'Angelo Russell, who is a better volume three-point shooter and has just been better, right? Like, again, Austin Reaves has been doing stuff. He's been doing other things, rebounding, making plays. I like what he's doing in that regard. He's actually been solid defensively. But, again, we have some real needs. And D'Lo, teams don't really seem lining up to take D'Lo. So if you can turn Reaves into those things and into those needs and into those fits, especially if he doesn't continue to perform. And the problem is, if he continues to play the way he's playing, teams aren't going to want Austin Reaves the way that they do. Austin Reaves had this trade value that was just skyrocketed. If he it is going to continue to drop. If he has another season like he did last year, teams aren't going to be lining up to get Austin Reaves either. Right? Not for the value that would make sense to trade for him. And again, I can't judge a player on what he'll do 3 months from now. I can't judge a player on what he will do 2 months from now. I can only judge a player based on his body of work right now. Right? What has he done? What has been the consistencies thus far? The consistencies thus far is that Austin Reaves forgot how to shoot. He's no longer that 40% three-point shooter. Right? He's struggling mighty. And yes, again, is it something that's correctable? Is it something that's fixable? Is it something that he can get back to? Sure. But will he? I don't know. And by the time he figures it out, it might be too late. Or he has no trade value when you do try to trade him. And it's like, you made the mistake. Right? You had a guy that was, a very good role player, but he wasn't a star. He wasn't a superstar. He was never going to really be a superstar or anything like that. Right? And you, instead of trading him and cashing him in at max value and letting another team deal with these struggles, you kept him. You didn't get the better player in DeJounte Murray. And now you're the team that has to deal with these struggles. And now you're hoping that he gets out of these struggles. Because if he doesn't, you're in trouble. So, I don't know. If I'm the Lakers, I'm at least considering, do we trade Austin Reaves? Right? Like, the Lakers are going to give the first 30 games or so to evaluate. So, if Austin Reaves is again inconsistent, right? Like, let's say he is shooting 36, 37% from three, but he's like how he was last year, where it's like he has like 3 or 4 games that are really good. And then he has like 4 or 5 games that are just terrible, right? Because that was the problem last year. It was his inconsistencies. He'd have like these pockets. He'd have like this 5-game stretch where he was great and looked like Austin Reaves. And then he'd have like a 5-game stretch where he was like, it was like, get this guy off the floor. Like, this guy's unplayable, right? Like, it's terrible. He's a traffic cone on defense. He can't score on offense, right? Like, he's just being a liability out there. If he continues to be that roller coaster and he's up and down and it's not a consistency thing, right? Like, then I think you trade him. I think you move him before teams wise up and go, hey, maybe he's not that guy, right? Maybe he's not worth us giving up a first for or trading a guy or whatever, right? Like, I even was in the camp of trading him for, like in the offseason, go get Zach LaVine or even DeMar DeRozan and also try to get Alex Caruso and give up Austin Reaves. Because Alex Caruso, you swap Alex Caruso for Austin Reaves, and a lot of people pushed back on that, which I didn't think I thought people would be like, yeah, that's a no-brainer, right? Because Alex Caruso is something we really need. Now I think a lot of people would be like, yeah. But I was like, hey, if you could swap Reaves for Caruso, and now you got Caruso 43% from three, and the all defensive guy solves a big need, slot him alongside D'Angelo Russell, and let's go. Right? People are like, no, you're crazy. Austin Reaves, this, that, and the other. Well, again, I understand it's preseason, but we only have the body of work to go off of right now, and this is 2 straight games. If he was coming off of a good year last year, then we wouldn't even be having this conversation. I wouldn't even be making this video. But we had these same excuses all year last year, again, myself included. I made all kinds of excuses for Austin Reaves. Right? I even bought into hey, it's his legs. He had tired legs last year. Right? I even made that excuse before they made the excuse. Right? Like I was talking about, he probably has tired legs. Right? Like, again, I was team like, hey, let's make excuses for Reaves and that. But now we're in a new season. He had all offseason to rest. Supposedly he was working and ramping up, doing all the things he needed to do, and he's been terrible. At least shooting the basketball. He's done other things. He hasn't been terrible overall. He hasn't been unplayable. But we need him to be able to shoot, especially if he's going to be in the starting unit. Otherwise, you need to move him to the bench, and he needs to be the 6th man, especially the way he's playing. And the numbers back that up too. But Anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree with me? Do you think, like, yes, like, you may end up having to really explore trading Austin Reaves? Do you think, no, you got to keep Austin Reaves no matter what, at all costs? He'll turn it around. Do you think, even if he does turn around, still trade Austin Reaves? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.